Hey guys, it's Maymay, and today Shannon wanted to make some ornaments for her tree. And I thought, what a fun video to show you guys how she's going to do this. It's super easy. We're going to use some Cricut, some vinyl, and some little embroidery hoops. So let's get started. So the first place we're going to start is at Cricut.com, which I've actually got this downloaded onto my computer. So I've just clicked on my app on my computer. And I'm going to choose a new project. So I'm going to click in this big square where the new project is. Now, I always tend to do this. I don't like the grid. If you go up there into that top corner and you click the little square where they meet, you can take the grid off the screen. And notice here I'm changing the background to green. That's just so you guys can see what I'm doing better. Now, we're going to start with a circle. That's because the hoop ornament that we're using is a circle, and I'm going to make it 5 inches. And the reason I'm doing that is because that's about the size of the fabric or about the space I want to fill. Even though my hoop ornament circle is only 4 inches, I need to give myself a little bit of space around the edges. So I'm going to kind of work with that 5 inches. If you need to work with just 4 inches, you certainly can. Now, the font I'm using today is called Cookies and Milk, and I actually got it off of dafont.com. It is free for personal use, but if you're going to sell this project, you need to make sure you pay your commercial license fee. All right, so I typed out the word joy. Now, I don't know what size I want these yet, so I'm just going to kind of sit them here as I build. Now, I know she wants to make 12 ornaments, so we want to do 2 of each word. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy the white circle and then copy the text so I can just replace them as I go through the screen here. So again, not really planning my sizing right now. We're going to come back to that in a second. I probably was at that point, but I'm really not. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to duplicate this circle, move it off to the side. Then I'm going to duplicate that text just so I don't have to go and change the text every time I'm typing, et cetera, et cetera. This way I'll just back over what's in there and put the new word. So backing over, type in the word peace. And I just kind of place that in the middle. And I'm going to duplicate again. And like I said, I'm going to duplicate 6 times because we want to make 12 ornaments. So we're going to do them 2 times each. Now, I could have already made all these circles. I could have done this from the beginning, but we really honestly were sitting here doing this together, and I just recorded the screen as I went. So this is going to show you my real work process. There's probably ways to cut out, and make things quicker, but this is just how I did it. So Shannon had picked out the words that she wanted to use, and like I said, all I'm doing is copy and paste them. I love this font. It is so cute. Again, it's called Cookies and Milk. I think it's perfect. You'll notice this word believe is going to need some work. Do you see it there? These little works. Let me show you how we do that. So notice on this word how the L and the I and the E all kind of blend together. I don't really like that. I want to separate those out. So I'm going to go to the top of the screen. And to the far right on the second menu bar, you'll see something that says Advanced and then Unlock Letters. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to separate the letters from each other, and then I'm just going to pull them away until I get them like I like them. And I'm just kind of clicking arrows to move them apart for this point. But once I get them all done and all set like I want them, I want to show you how I make sure I haven't lost any of my alignment. So notice I've moved the circle out of my way. I wanted to get that away, so I'm just working on the letters. Now here's the thing. I've slowed this section down so I can tell you exactly what I'm doing, but I'm just taking each individual letter and placing them where I want them. Now, in some places, I have to click and drag them. I can't just arrow them over to get the right distance that I want. And sometimes in doing that, I can get the height off. So here's how I fix it. I select all of the letters. I go to the top of the screen and select Align, and then choose Align Top. And now I know they're all lined up like they're supposed to be, and I can group them back together to move them around the page. So that's what I did. Anywhere I had to do a little stretch, doesn't it look better? Now you can actually read the word. So as you can see, I've just duplicated my other circles, and I'm just making more words and doing the same thing where I need to move them apart. The E's a little close here, wish is a little close. And I do those very same steps I showed you earlier, and then we're ready to make the project. For the project itself, I don't need anything but the words. I was only using the circles to mimic my embroidery hoops. So I'm going to slide the words off to the side and just keep those. And I'll show you what I'm doing here. I have got one word set the size I want it. That believe word is exactly the size I want it. So now I'm just taking every other word and lining it up with the one before and stretching the letters until they're the same height as the one underneath. Now, could you use numbers and go in and type it all in and all that kind of stuff? You can, but for me, this works just as easy. Watch what I do with peace right here. I should have separated that P and that E a little bit. I didn't, and they're fine. So see, I'm just stretching the height so it's the same. This way, all my words look similar, and I don't have to do any, typing in of numbers or anything. Just take that J and line it up with the P and drag it and stretch it. I want to cut these out all as words. And because I separated the letters on a lot of them, if I were to say go right now, all the letters would be scrambled on my cut mat, and I don't want that to happen. I'll show you what I mean. In a second, I press make, and see at the top of the page how all the words just kind of scrambled? I don't want that. I need to fix that. And here's how I like to do it, okay? I select the word, and I'm going to get rid of that grid so y'all can see better. I select the word, and instead of attaching, which you can attach, that's not fine. For some reason, I weld. I don't know why. I weld it. It becomes one image, and that it just works for me. Now, you can attach all those letters together, which attaching is good because if you ever open it again and you've welded it, you can't do anything. Once you've welded them, they're welded. But I'm okay with this. I know I want these words to stay together, so I'm welding. But again, you can attach. And I know some people are going to say you should have attached, and you can. This is just the way I do things sometimes. So I'm going to go ahead and save the project because I don't want to lose it. I'm just calling them Shannon's Ornaments. And then we can finally go and do the fun part, which is cutting them out. Here you can see I've got all the words on my mat, but I'm moving them around a little bit because we have a certain size piece of vinyl we're wanting to use, and I want to make sure that everything's clear. My vinyl's big, but it doesn't go all the way to the edge, so I want to make sure that I don't accidentally cut anything off the edge. So you just click on your words on your mat and move them where you want them. Now, something real important, which I have not done yet, and I don't know that I caught it on film, is to mirror this image. I'm going to be cutting this on some iron-on vinyl, and because of that, I need to mirror the image, and that's easy enough to do by just clicking the little button that's underneath your mat on the left-hand side, and you'll be in good shape. Now we're at our Cricut machine, and I'm just using my Air 2. I think that's my Air 2. It was one we had open and using the other day, so I just went back to it. I pressed the Cricut button on my machine, and it is going to start to cut. Now, I did cut this twice. I wanted to make sure it cut through really well. I didn't want to have to do it again. To do that, once it's through cutting, just don't unload your mat. Just hit the Cricut head again, and it'll cut twice in the very same spot. It's a perfect trick for doing that. So these are all cut, and now we just need to weed them out. And that just means we're going to take off the vinyl we don't need and leave the vinyl we do. Okay, so what Shannon's doing now is she's pulling away the vinyl that she doesn't need and leaving the letters behind on the transfer tape. So you'll watch her pull that away. She'll use the pokey tool to get the little inside pieces or where any of it tears or sticks, and then we're ready to iron these on. So Shannon's going to cut all these words apart because she doesn't, obviously only needs them individual. So once she's got them all weeded, and she lost very little vinyl. I know it looks like it's a lot of vinyl being wasted, but it's very little considering how many words we got on this 6x12 piece of vinyl.
Yes.
Okay, so Shannon has some cream colored fabric. This is just a cotton fabric, nothing fancy. And what she's going to do now, because she's going to be using, show them your hoops you're going to be using. She's going to be using these 4-inch hoops. We actually carry these in the store, so there are some available if you want to pick some up. She's going to use the 4-inch hoop. So we want to cut at least a 5-inch piece of fabric, but honestly, see how she's just going to lay that there? That's what I would do, and I would just cut around. And how many are you making altogether?
12.
So she's going to cut out 12 pieces, an inch or more bigger than her hoop. So she's got all her stack right here. Now here's what I would suggest. We're going to go ahead and heat press these one time to get the wrinkles out before we place our words. So let us set the heat press up and we'll show you what we're doing. Okay, so what Shannon is doing is she has taken her little square of fabric and her little cut words, and she's using her hoop just to make sure she's putting it kind of in the center. This is not a science because you can move your hoop around, but she just wants to make sure she has plenty of room around the edge. And that looks good. Now, you have your easy press set to what?
375.
Okay, it's set to 375, and we have a 15-second timer. But are we running that timer twice?
I have been at times, yeah.
We could move it to 30, but we've been running it twice because sometimes it needs it and sometimes it doesn't, which is strange.
Yeah, the bigger words, it seems to need it more than like joy.
Okay, so she's going to take her Easy Press and sit it on top and then press the timer. And you want to show them what it looks like? It's kind of cool when it comes out. She's been doing some, so there you go.
It's so pretty.
Yep. So she's making 12. I think I told her she's making 12, but I can't sit aside, so I'm helping. I'm over here making them. I'm over here putting them together. She's going to have nothing to do because I can't stop.
I get to put them on the tree.
I keep asking permission, though. Can I keep going? She's like, yes, keep going. All right, so now she'll lift up her protector fabric, which, by the way, I don't know if I told you, this is the very same fabric. We just cut a piece to put on top. And then she's going to peel away the little transfer sheet. And look, there's her word.
It's all joy.
Now, the only thing we want to do is we want to let that cool before we start to put it into our hoop. If you do it while it's warm, it can stretch your vinyl, your words out of shape, and you don't want to do that.
I'm going to heat it one more time just to make sure it's all stuck good.
And notice that she's doing that with that piece of protector fabric, but not the transfer sheet. We're just doing it straight to the fabric. They're so cute. I can't wait for you to see them. I'm putting them together over here off camera, but you'll see them all. You'll see what we get done anyway. So I'm going to show you how to put one in because I was practicing and I got a little bit of tips and tricks for you. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to open this hoop almost all the way. Just going to go ahead and get that screw open. Like I said, right to the edge there. That's really all you need because I want it to be nice and loose. Then I'm going to take the circle and put down and then lay my little word on top. And because Shannon is adding a little bow to the top, I'm not going centered at the very top. I'm just dropping it down just the tiniest bit off center toward the bottom to make the bow kind of balance. Does that make sense? Like it's not even enough to look at it and tell, but just a tiny little bit. And what's cool is I can see my circle through the fabric. That's really cool. All right, and with this super loose like this, I can then lay this on and it won't distort, which is good. You don't want it to. You just want it to be nice and smooth. Now, I don't like where that landed. Do you see where I'm a little off center up there? So I'm going to redo that one. This is the first one I've had to redo, and it would be the one on camera.
Well, of course.
Of course it would be. All right, so I'm going to do that again. I want that twist, the latch, to be at the top. That's good. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to pick this up, hold it in my hand, and close this guy as close as it'll go. Not as close as it'll go. I'm leaving a gap about 1/8 of an inch thick because Shannon's going to hang this with Christmas hooks on her tree. So I want to leave her room to get her little hook in there. All right, now here's the trick I want to show you, okay? Place this down on your table when you're pulling this out, when you're stretching your fabric, and it will help you hold the fabric in place and keep you from distorting it. So see how I'm pushing the hoop down and then pulling the fabric? You shouldn't have to do much. It should tighten up for you pretty good. And it doesn't have to be like guitar string tight. I do have this little piece right here I want to kind of put my finger on and kind of help it. There we go. But again, it doesn't have to be like, you know, a trampoline, but you want it kind of snug. All right, then this is so easy. Oh, let me use those other scissors. I don't know why. These get really flush to the bottom. So what I'm going to do here is just lift this up and look how flush. I can cut it right to that ring. You'll want to use these too. They just get really super tight down. The blades are not very thick. And you just run around and trim that off. And you just want to trim that down as tight as you can get it to trim. Don't worry, we're going to do a little treatment on it to kind of keep it from raveling and keep it in place. So there's that. Let's go ahead and do that little treatment. So we just got our hot glue gun out. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to scrub hot glue around the back. So I'm not making a bead. I'm just squeezing the trigger and rubbing it as I go around. And what that's doing is just giving me kind of a sealant to hold the fabric to the hoop without any like globs of hot glue. And I'm just going to you could just kind of touch it up here and there and do it, but I just thought I'm going to go ahead and do this all the way around. And then these won't come apart over the years. Just scrub that fabric down to the hot glue all the way around and let that dry. Then these are some bows that I pre-tied and I went ahead and did some fray check on the edge. They're already dry. So I'm going to take a little bit of glue and put at the top, just a bead at the top of our ornament. And then glue down this little bow. These are so fresh. And like we said, Shannon's got a 9-foot tree this year, so she's having to get a lot of ornaments. So this will make her 12 ornaments super fast, and that'll be so cute on her tree. All right, can we show them a couple that are done? Look how cute. Very little product. It's just the hoops, some ribbon, some white fabric, and then half a sheet of vinyl. Not bad at all, huh?
No.
All right, guys, that is Shannon's ornaments. I'm helping her. I know y'all are like, this is not Shannon's, you're doing it. But I'm just helping her. And she's over here making one right now as we speak.
And I can't get it straight.
All right, I'm going to go help Shannon. If you make something like this, we want to see it. So head to either our Discord or our customer gallery at maymaymadeit.com and show us what you're making. Till next time, guys. Bye-bye.